All right, hey guys, Cadet William Farkas, 1st Squad, 2nd Platoon, Battle Company, 117 Infantry, and today we're going to be going over the Pomesi PT of Finland. We're doing this to ensure that you guys better understand the operational environment of this country. Let's go get hype. All right, so look at the political situation of Finland. They have a parliamentary democracy with a president. The main party in charge of Finland is going to be the National Coalition Party, alongside some other right-wing parties forming a right-wing coalition. That's going to mean that they have a right-leaning government. However, still looking at the country overall, they are a liberal democracy. They are also now, as of 2023, a NATO member and have a strong partnership with the United States. Looking at the military, right? We got the Finnish Defense Forces made up of reserve and active components. Put together, if they mustered up all of those, that would make up 180,000 personnel. That's a lot for a little country like this, guys. Looking at the reserve army units, they're primarily going to be light infantry. So if we're working with them, we got to keep that in mind, right? They don't have the equipment that a mechanized unit would have, such as their active army units, right? They're going to be primarily mechanized with some armor supplements, some field artillery supplements. They're going to be a little bit more high tech. Their Navy isn't too much to write home about. Some smaller vessels, mainly coastal defense. That's primarily what we're looking at there. If we're looking at their air forces, that's primarily air-to-air combat. You're not looking at too much CAS, close air support. Primarily air-to-air combat, guys. Looking at the economics, just to be real brief. They use the euro, we use the US dollar. Keep that in mind if we have to be over there. And it's been stable over a 10-year span. Not too much to worry about there. Sweden and Germany are their largest trading partners, right? That's for imports and exports. We do trade with them a little bit, however, being in the US. Their unemployment rate is 7.7%, and their inflation rate is 3.2%. Social demographics. Okay, looking at this, roughly 7% of Finland's population is foreign. And most of those people are Swedish of descent, right? So with that, they have a strong focus on integration, being fair, and being, doing the right thing when they're integrating their foreign population. So if we're looking at a clash between demographics in their country, everything's really stable. Not too much to worry about there. Along with that, they have no major organized crime, and crime as a whole is really low. They have like 1.4 homicides per every 100,000 people, if you're looking at the data there. Really safe. Information, right? In 2013, Finland started their first cybersecurity initiative, and then in 2019, they really started to ramp things up because Russia started posing a little bit more of a cybersecurity threat, right? Looking at Finland as the 5th out of 180 countries for the highest level of media freedom, we know that Finland is a very free country as well. If we're looking at world's luxuries, looking at how they're living, they got smartphones, guys, okay? Not like if you deployed to Somalia or deployed to an African country of that sort, right? A little bit more high-tech there. Infrastructure, okay. This is where it's important. Snowstorms, ice, that's going to be hampering some transportation if we are operating in the winter. So if we're making any plans to get across roads, or even train for that matter, in the winter, snowstorms and ice, we're going to have to take that into account. Nuclear and hydroelectric power plants are their largest supply of power. They kind of got coal and other fossil fuels on the back foot right now. Really no wind power, solar, that's mainly how they get their power there. So nuclear and hydroelectric, okay? Looking at some security threats, guys, it's Russia. That's mainly what you got to worry about here with Finland, okay? Russia poses a threat to Finland because they know that Finland is close to NATO. Now they just joined NATO, just last year in 2023, so that broke their trend of neutrality. They joined us in NATO because they know that they're in a position to be able to supply the Baltic states with any sort of ammunition, equipment, reinforcements, and they know that Russia knows that. They were just like, hey, let's go ahead and hop in on the NATO train, okay? So that's pretty much what we got there with the security threats. Physical geography, they got a bunch of lakes inland. Okay, we got to keep that in mind if we're doing any sort of operations there. Their summers are mild. They got harsher winters. If you're looking at their winters, negative 50 degrees is their all-time low. It's really cold. It's close to the Arctic Circle, guys, okay? Keep that in mind. heavily vegetated, a lot of pine, fir trees, evergreens, and then outside of Helsinki and some other cities, kind of in the southern part of Finland, we're really looking at a low population density, not too many people there. So if we're operating in areas outside of that location, right, we're going to have to know that we can't really rely on the local population too much, okay? So time, just like I stated before, winter activities, we're going to have to consider snow, ice, things of that sort, but also take this into consideration, right? Daylight. If we're doing any sort of daylight operations or nighttime operations, we have to know that daylight only lasts for like 6 hours in the winter. If even less, like depending on where you're at in Finland, because it gets closer to the Arctic Circle the farther you go north. So, pending any questions, we go back. Those are my sources. If you want to take a look at those guys, but pending any questions, this concludes my brief. Thank you very much.